Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and seeing it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day today, and it really didn't get a lot of play in the media, by the way. There have been years where they have focused on this, but I think the main thing that they really didn't want to show that, wasn't there was people walking hand in hand, racially or otherwise, in large cities such as Washington, D.C., okay? Didn't want to show you that. And in the framework of civil disobedience, because I keep telling you guys, this movement right now that needs to be the great resistance against the Great Reset isn't a conservative one, isn't a liberal one. It isn't even really an American one. It is a human civil rights issue and must be that type of movement. And we have to use civil disobedience and their force against us, or we are doomed to failure. And another reason why I wanted to do this, and I'm going to read one quote, which, I think this is a great quote. There comes a time when silence is betrayal is probably my overall favorite, and we're actually going to play that speech. And that's in regards to the Vietnam War. And that hits on so many issues that are relevant today. So many issues because, let's be honest, the Iraq War, the Afghanistan conflict, our alliances with Saudi Arabia and Israel, what's going on in Yemen, AFRICOM, Libya in particular, all these things are really never discussed. The Syrian conflict, which should be a major, major issue. All these things, are things that are so relevant when you hear what Martin Luther King Jr. has to say. And a lot of people believe one of the reasons that he was taken out when he was because he was now talking about Vietnam. And this went far beyond just the civil rights issue of, Black America. So, before we get there, and we will get there, I promise you, I do want to go over a few things. Get your questions and comments in. And by the way, if you want to put in your favorite Martin Luther King Jr. quotes, I would love to read those throughout. I'm encouraging people to do that. If you have a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., now's the time to put them in. If you haven't been keeping up, if you're new to the program, GoFundMe has deactivated my latest campaign, but alas, we have a Go Get Funding. Now, the Stripe payment method, I don't know, it's giving me issues. I'm trying to get it going. But the cool thing is that you can get comments in here. Jason, I want to make sure that you can keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate your work. So we might be able to use this as a super chat mechanism. So if you make a donation, leave a comment. And you can be like Michelle Fine, who says, F GoFundMe. As always, you can remain anonymous or an anonymous amount. Here's your GoFundMe refund, because they actually refunded this person, Sarah. Thank you so much. The fact that you are seemingly at risk for being banned on certain platforms just by going against the grain, does that kind of make you feel inhibited with your words, since you might get banned for a stupid reason? Anyway, I am careful with my words, but I'm not inhibited. I'm going to be talking about this. And the thing is that, again, you're going to have to go to tools in your toolbox, right? There are so many issues that every human being who has compassion for other human beings can come together on. They can come together once they're given the correct information and they realize a predator class ruling over them doesn't care if they're black or brown or Asian or Hispanic. None of those things. Just doesn't care. All right? It wants to dominate. It wants to be the regimentation of all human beings. This upper level. This is a transhumanist movement, believe it. And, a lot of people want to come at me for my interview with Prady Upala. Come on, guys. Again, we are in an echo chamber here. And especially if you got through that interview into the end when we talk about transhumanism, there's a place of agreement that we can come together with an open dialogue. Just putting that out there. Great job as always. Shade Alley. Remember, shade is free. And thanks for what you do. There's a couple more on here. Oh, yeah. Keep bringing us truth. Things are getting crazy in the big tech world. They sure are. They sure are. So this is how you can support me. This is how you can skip the line. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Remember, we're going kicking and screaming because we haven't violated any content. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now. 11 a.m. This is Rockfin. This is my back end right here. 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We go live and free at Rockfin. Did we hit 10,000? Let's find out. Oh, that's not me. Did we hit 10,000? We did. We did it. 10. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be the 10K AMA. Thank you guys so much. 10,000 followers. You can make the free account. You can watch me live 11 a.m. Monday through Friday Eastern Time. Please come on down to Rockfin because they're, empowering me through technology. And we are backing everything up on Odyssey, so don't worry about it. Okay, here we go. And again, get the thumbs up, guys. I think this is an important broadcast. I can't believe we only have 90 viewers on this one. Really? Martin Luther King Jr. isn't a big deal? I know it's late night, but 90 viewers? Has the algorithm just taken Jason Burmis to a lower level? Is that where we're at, guys? 60+ thousand subscribers, and we can't break 100 viewers. And how many minutes? We're almost 7 minutes into the broadcast. I mean, now you wonder. I didn't put Martin Luther King Jr. in the title, but he is in the hashtag. You would think, again, this is a time that there would be elevated searches for the guy. Nope, guess not. So this is a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., and this is not my favorite one, but I just thought that this was so relevant. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. That is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. Now let's break that down for a second. Unarmed truth is so important because I come to you not as a tough guy, not as some movie star cliche hero, but as another human being that goes through so many of the same experiences that you, the viewer, have. And I'm sure that as I get older, because I know I have some older audience, we're going to share more and more experiences. At least that's what I hope. That's the human experience. Whether that be with your family, your friends, but not only the joy in your life, but the joy in others. Something called empathy in many cases. Now, because of that unarmed truth, when it is so in your face, so brazen, right? There's an opportunity for people to see how evil, no matter how triumphant it has been, when it puts its force on you, whether that be military, right, drone strikes, or what we saw in the civil rights movement by police officers, that's how you defeat it. And unconditional love. I believe this, man. And the thing is that evil is triumphant a lot. The dark side is real. Okay, it is as real as it gets. And, so I also put these pictures side by side. So if you are following me on Twitter, maybe you want to give that one a retweet. Okay, so again, get your questions and comments in now. What we're going to do is we're going to play the Silence is Betrayal Vietnam speech and kind of stop it every once in a while. And again, it opens with that great quote that I think that is also so relevant on many levels, goes well beyond Vietnam. Because if you know this is going on, and you want to be either intellectually dishonest with yourself and just ignore it and say it's going to go away and it's no big deal, that's a problem. If you want to do mental gymnastics and then go full Orwell and go 2 + 2 = 5 and then still buy into the propaganda, that's even worse. But then if you want to work against your neighbors and ultimately humanity in general, that's the ultimate betrayal, isn't it? So guys, inaction, silence is betrayal, and believe me, Just because you're vocal on message boards about imaginary superheroes from those same message boards, that's not action. That's not being loud. All right, that's giving people the opportunity to pigeonhole a movement. But let's hear it.
A time comes when silence is betrayal. That time has come for us in relation to Vietnam. The truth of these words is beyond doubt, but the mission to which they call us is a most difficult one. Even when pressed by the demands of inner truth, men do not easily assume the task of opposing their government's policy, especially in time of war.
And let me just say that. This generation of millennials, when have they been in a time that wasn't war? What about my generation? Even when there wasn't hot war, we had the Cold War and the war on drugs. All right, the generation after mine, the Cold War was gone, the war on drugs never ended, and the war on terror, oh boy. Now we have the war on COVID. COVID-1984 is the real war that we need to fight. So you talk about, again, government policies and opposing the strength of those governments, so key to listen to this guy.
Nor does the human spirit move without great difficulty against all the apathy of conformist thought within one's own bosom and in the surrounding world. Moreover, when the issues at hand seem as perplexing as they often do, in the case of this dreadful conflict, we are always on the verge of being mesmerized by uncertainty. But we must move on. Some of us who have already begun to break the silence of the night have found that the calling to speak is often a vocation of agony. But we must speak. We must speak with all the humility that is appropriate to our limited vision.
Let me speak to that. So, right there, he's basically saying that this idea that ignorance is bliss and inaction is, acceptable is not real. He says, to invoke this vocation of what is going on and do it loudly against the grain, it's not an easy thing. There are hardships that will come. Again, Martin Luther King Jr. being those hardships. Think about that. Do you think we're that much different than that era when this man was demonized and criminalized and put in prison and ultimately killed? Do you really think we're that much different? I mean, in 2021, the media is trying to spin that there are white supremacists everywhere and that they're a danger. And we're also now still in a place where Black Lives Matter. Of course, Black Lives Matter. And somehow if you say every life matters, and I actually mean it, by the way. You want to talk, again, about AFRICOM, about what's happening in Yemen. How about the Palestinians? Do you want to talk about that too? Do their lives matter? Is the color of their skin dark enough to matter? Then where are you in this anti-war movement? Where are you when it comes to the actual pardoning of Assange, etc.? I mean, again, there's so many issues that we need to speak out and speak loudly against, and they just are now still invoking these, racial tropes. It's sad. And again, I dare to think what this man would be saying or doing if he was in our generation and how he would be treated for the things that he was saying and doing.
But we must speak. And we must rejoice as well, for surely this is the first time in our nation's history that a significant number of its religious leaders have chosen to move beyond the prophesying of smooth patriotism to the high grounds of a firm dissent based upon the mandates of conscience and the reading of history.
So again, guys mark on. So he's saying, look, the real pastors and Christians and priests out there, the real people in this country are now starting to speak out against the war machine and not just going along. But in the war on terror, it was the same thing. It was few and far between. But as the war on terror progressed, you heard more of it. But then when it was kind of masked as to what was happening via the Obama administration, where again they used race in their favor to squelch any dissent that might be against that administration. I mean, again, show me the headlines about Barack Obama's administration being found guilty by a Senate investigation of funding Al-Qaeda affiliates. I mean, something I was reporting on We Are Change, forever ago when it was happening. But, you don't hear those things.
Perhaps a new spirit is rising among us. If it is, let us trace its movements and pray that our own inner being may be sensitive to its guidance, for we are deeply in need of a new way beyond the darkness that seems so close around us. Over the past 2 years, as I have moved to break the betrayal of my own silences and to speak from the burnings of my own heart, as I have called for radical departures from the destruction of Vietnam, many persons have questioned me about the wisdom of my path. At the heart of their concerns, this query has often loomed large and loud. Why are you speaking about the war, Dr. King? Why are you joining the voices of dissent? Peace and civil rights don't mix, they say. Aren't you hurting the cause of your people, they ask.
I mean, I got goosebumps right now thinking about this. Peace and civil rights don't mix, they say. Even then, could there have ever been a more Orwellian statement? I mean, come on. In the real world, peace and civil rights are like peanut butter and jelly, folks.
And when I hear them, though I often understand the source of their concern, I'm nevertheless greatly saddened, for such questions mean that the inquirers have not really known me, my commitment, or my calling. Indeed, their questions suggest that they do not know the world in which they live. In the light of such tragic misunderstanding, I deem it of signal importance to try to state clearly, and I trust concisely, why I believe that the path from Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, a church in Montgomery, Alabama, where I began my pastorate, leads clearly to this sanctuary tonight. I come to this platform tonight to make a passionate plea to my beloved nation. This speech is not addressed to Hanoi or to the National Liberation Front. It is not addressed to China or to Russia. Nor is it an attempt to overlook the ambiguity of the total situation and the need for a collective solution to the tragedy of Vietnam. Neither is it an attempt to make North Vietnam or the National Liberation Front paragons of virtue.
Let me just stop it here. You could insert all of these things into, conflicts in the Middle East, radical terror, religious-based terror, all of these things today. And again, I think it's important to talk about that because he knew what you would call fake news today, what the talking points and the rhetoric would be had he not clarified his position, and still would be after he clarified his position. And you notice how, again, the media is still working in those type of sound bites and demonization methods, fake news ain't new, folks.
Not to overlook the role they must play in the successful resolution of the problem. While they both may have justifiable reasons to be suspicious of the good faith of the United States, life and history give eloquent testimony to the fact that conflicts are never resolved without trustful give and take on both sides. Tonight, however, I wish not to speak with Hanoi and the National Liberation Front, but rather to my fellow Americans. That is, at the outset, a very obvious and almost facile connection between the war in Vietnam and the struggle I and others have been waging in America. A few years ago, there was a shining moment in that struggle. It seemed as if there was a real promise of hope for the poor, both black and white, through the poverty program. There were experiments, hopes, new beginnings. And then came the build-up in Vietnam, and I watched this program broken and eviscerated as if it was some idle political plaything of a society gone mad on war. And I knew that America would never invest the necessary funds or energies in rehabilitation of its poor so long as adventures like Vietnam continued to draw men and skills and money like some demonic destructive suction tube. So I was increasingly compelled to see the war as an enemy of the poor and to attack it as such.
Class war. What is war? An enemy of the poor. Who are the easiest targets of this great reset? The poor. Who are they trying to work out? The middle class, the independent, the customer service industries that are outside of their control. It's always been class warfare. And when you get to hot war, who's the real enemy? Think about those villages that they drone bomb. Who's speaking for those people, especially in this country? Just point it out. WikiLeaks did. Assange did. Look where it got him.
Perhaps a more tragic recognition of reality took place when it became clear to me that the war was doing far more than devastating the hopes of the poor at home. It was sending their sons and their brothers and their husbands to fight and to die in extraordinarily high proportions relative to the rest of the population. We were taking the black young men who had been crippled by our society and sending them 8,000 miles away to guarantee liberties in Southeast Asia, which they had not found in Southwest Georgia and East Holland. So we have been repeatedly faced with the cruel irony of watching Negro and white boys on TV screens as they kill and die together for a nation that has been unable to seat them together in the same schools. So we watch them in brutal solidarity, burning the huts of a poor village, but we realize that they would hardly live on the same block in Chicago. I could not be silent in the face of such cruel manipulation of the poor.
Pure gold, folks. Pure gold. So get your questions and comments in. We're going to them right now. I'm just going to make sure that we didn't get any kind of a donation. Nope, we are okay. So there's no super chats. I don't even know if that's going to be possible, but I think there is going to be the way that you can leave those comments where I could tell the writing was on the wall and they were about to take that away from me. All right, let's see. We got QH5 hashtag. Don't know what that means. First time I made an AMA in ages. Are you heading to DC? No, I am not. Our lives to begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Correct, Fred. So many predictions for tomorrow. Will the script writers keep the drama going? I mean, what? Guys, they're going to inaugurate Biden. Don't get me wrong. Things have been wild. But anybody telling you otherwise, I mean, think about what the hype is out there. If you watch Mixed Martial Mindset, me and John talked about this quite a bit. But they're already saying they've vetted all these military and police for possible domestic terror plots to assassinate Biden. They tried to pull the bullshit narrative out there that the QAnon shaman and others had gotten together and mapped it out, and we're going to go in there and kidnap and assassinate people. I mean, it's fiction. They're saying the 22-year-old girl who got Pelosi's laptop was maybe going to sell it to the Russians. I mean, horsepucky from the mainstream and, these alternatives that are even pushing this stuff, that think that an insurrection act is going to happen. No, I don't even know that you want the hopium that somehow we're going to get, an Assange pardon or a Snowden pardon or an Ulbricht pardon. I'd love to be wrong. You'll get the Lil Wayne pardon. I'll bet you'll get that. MLK was far from perfect indeed, correct. But I guess he must have done something right. Yes, he did a lot right, in my opinion. Again, they don't like civil disobedience. They don't like people of all colors getting together, okay, for the uplifting of humanity against oppression of all forms that even go beyond government. They go into corporate. But at the end of the day, we live in this fascistic system that is shielded by trying to tell us, oh, well, like the big tech companies are companies. They're not. It's a technopoly. It's not just a technocracy of bureaucrats. So many people are missing the suppressed technology element, the DARPA element, the quantum element, the AI element that is already in place of this emerging transhumanist society. How about that? We got some fatigue. Good evening. Sup. School standards have consistently dropped since the civil rights era, but progress. I would disagree. I would say that school standards have dropped in certain areas, for sure. But again, I don't know that the civil rights movement has anything to do with that. It's segregating people into these communities that are ultimately subsidized by taxpayer dollars that don't give people a way out, and then kind of normalize it, and then normalize the control because the state wants you on some kind of dole. I don't know what that is. Hey, everybody. Hey, it's going to take sacrifice, like my government job here in Southern California, but when the time comes, I can do it. Attaboy, Josh. Attaboy. I took Latin at 11 years old. Now kids are lucky to have a vocabulary more than 800 words. I don't know, man. Like my nieces, you talk about languages, were actually they were each trying to learn a different language on their computers, 10 and 11. And my one niece, Alana, was showing me Arabic, actually, was what I forget what Michelina was doing. But, they're doing it. And even, this school that's part-time, full, in person, it's a really good school system here in my area in the Quad Cities. Hey, TJ, and whoever else is lurking, I'm eating some fruity walrus. I don't know what that is from Richards just now. I don't know what any of that means. You should follow the new social media platform being created called Panquake. Susie Dawson is spearheading this along with the support from Bill Binney. Panquake. Okay, I don't know much about it, but, I like what I'm hearing. Fred Bear, you couldn't have said it better. Let's see. By the way, thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. And remember, the Go Get Funding link is down below, as well as Ether address. And by the way, Ethereum, guys, that's awesome. I mean, if you want to go crypto and support me, that's a very cool way to do it as well, especially now that we're seeing hurdle after hurdle come my way. And who knows if we're going to be on the YouTube platform. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Another great MLK Jr. quote. Thank you, How Come? I appreciate that. Love you, Jason. Keep up the good work. Weird stuff is going down soon. I don't know, Matt. When I say weird stuff, I'm thinking about those executive orders that Joe Biden's about to sign. I'm thinking about 100 days of masks. I'm thinking about wave 2. I'm thinking about mutations. I'm thinking about the New York State Bar Association talking about mandatory vaccinations. That's the weird stuff I'm thinking about. I'll tell you that. Now we've been talking. I'm thinking about, a great resistance of the people, a nonviolent one that echoes the love that Martin Luther King Jr. talked about. I mean, is that out of the realm? Is that kooky manuki? MLK, CDC, 44 every day. Echo, 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 echo. Is there an echo? Was there an echo? Was there an echo during the broadcast? Hell yeah, JB. How the hell can the USA get censored? Listen, man, there's been a coup d'etat for a long time. Long time. They built this thing into a national security state post-World War II, and decade after decade took more and more private power with their crony billionaires, their oligarchs, their predator class members at the top. Dick Gregory, God rest his soul, another great civil rights movement figure. Malcolm X is the best. No, it's just the fatigue. Is the CFR behind all media censorship? No, they are not. However, the CFR is a very powerful think tank that has many facets and ultimately puts out a lot of white papers that then get put out into global policy, and is certainly an avenue into predator class minion globalism. How about that? Everyone has been doing MLK all day. I mean, have they? Because I was watching, quite a bit of news today. I didn't see much on it at all. I saw a bunch of fear mongering about the Capitol. I saw people actually putting labels the last couple days on, the guy coming in and wanting to take a picture with the guy going, this is kind of like the one cop, sacred place, as disturbing content or violent content. What is going on? Cartoon level. Malcolm became a JFK guy, and so the Muslim Brotherhood killed him. I shun emojis. I get it. They got their fix. Anybody who looks like a minority or no conservative, I hate all Democrats. Let's see. MLK guy, I'm just too old to do emojis, correct, as am I. If America can hate me for looking white and Christian, I now have to hate all demon crap and minorities. What? Well, that makes no sense, huh? That's ridiculous to say. MK Ultra? Okay. MLK Ultra. Do you think that the Pied Piper strategy is still being played? I don't know. A Pied Piper what? Trust the plan? Johnny Nonsense? I mean, I don't know how many times these people have to be wrong. I think that some of them literally have been so mesmerized and hypnotized and have lost touch with what's real and what's actually, being told to them on these magical message boards that have no basis in reality. I mean, I saw people posting stuff from 4chan that they were saying TV broadcasting networks are going to magically go down for 8 hours on Wednesday during the come on, man. Come on. In the immortal words of zombie Joe Biden, come on, man. Did no one like my MLK quote? I forgot to put MLK, but it was in the quotes. Yes, I liked it, and that's why I said it. Jobs can't hire you for being Republican. And it's legal. White hate is real and legal. Again, man, they're trying to make it about race. I'm certainly not. Is the storm on the Capitol building just another part of 9/11, just in slow motion, a convenient chance to bring in Patriot Act 2? Well, they certainly want to frame it domestic terror level. Now you want to make all these people domestic terrorists. Again, you want to charge them with trespass or destruction of property. Do that. Insurrection, ridiculous. And if they stole something, again, thievery. But look at how many violent criminals have been released catch and release in New York alone this year. And then look at the results of how much crime has shot up in that area. It's unreal. It's cartoon level. That's what it is. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. It's no bueno. A no bueno. Okay? I've been smashing waffles. How come? LOL. Be right back. You're eating some waffles. Well, good for you. I can see the effing little things, so I don't know what they are. Love is controlled, love is unconditional. Survival is not democratic. MLK was taken out after he started talking against the war in Vietnam. Communists love minorities and hate whites. Easier to take advantage. All right, that's it. We'll see you later, John Gulf. If you think that race has anything to do with somebody's intellect, yeah, I mean you're a disgusting bigot. How about that? Did I just say I wanted to get rid of that person here, not just hide? Let's view deleted message and then I want. Can I just get rid of the guy? There we go. Hide user on the channel. I don't want to read any of your more garbage. It's disgusting. JFK as well. It's late. It is a little late, but what do we got? We didn't even make it to 200. Thumbs up the video. Let's get over 100 likes, can we? Where is Ghislaine Maxwell? I'm hoping that she's actually in, some kind of a prison facility. I don't want to, I don't even want to delve into that. We'll see where it all goes. I have a bad feeling that the cover-up crew is in full effect with Brunel and Nygaard and the whole thing. Just saying. Sports, we're all remembering MLK while everyone is jailed at home. He must be spinning in his grave. Ugh, I didn't watch any sports today, that's for sure. What age do you quit doing emojis? I didn't get the memo. I don't know, Karen. You know what? I remember when emojis were coming into play in WhatsApp when I was dating this girl from Canada. And even then, I was hesitant. Maybe I emojied a thing or two, but then I stopped after that. I was like, what am I doing with myself? And you know what? As a kid, I loved the happy face icon and art based on the happy face icon and stuff like that. So it was even harder for me with all the emoji stuff. Okay, let's see. Was that a big jump? Yeah, that was a big jump, wasn't it? Wow. Let's see. It all happened there. Let's see. Okay, we're right around here. Great. Do you think... Oh, no, we're still there. There we go. Never go full Orwell. Agreed. Vietnam was a racism issue, too. Again, classism, in my opinion, but I get it. Racism is often used. Tribalism is often used. You can't group everyone together. They know the distinct personality types and how to evoke Desrid responses. Ever see the MLK episode of the Boondocks? You bet I have, and I'm a big fan of it. It's good stuff. Did you see the U.S. did a missile strike on a militia group in Iran near Baghdad? Will that be the start of World War III? I did not, and I will look into it later on and maybe check it out tomorrow. What is action in 2021? How do we act against these assholes? Again, unarmed resistance, Occupy resistance, local government resistance, resistance to any authoritarian executive orders that have no constitutional merit. How about that? While the world don't move to beat to the beat of just one drum, we might be right for you, might not be right for some. So we're doing Facts of Life now, 6-string Ronin. That's your deal. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and they have facts of life. A facts of life. When the world... Our lives begin to end the day that we become silent about things that matter. How come? Coming up with the gold. Jason, your predictions for tomorrow and Wednesday. I've already talked about it. Tomorrow's just going to be more hype on the internet and, bullshit videos by people just trying to get views and hopium nonsense. And I'm going to stick to my guns and just hope that the chaos that does ensue in the next few days isn't overwhelming to the point that we have just a ton of new draconian laws in this country and actions. Ashtray blunt cam paint inversion table, yes. whatever that means. I've got everyday people. I've got everyday people. Let's see, and replaced. You do realize that Martin Luther King Jr. was just a CIA asset, don't you? He was a womanizing communist. Wake up, sleepyhead. You know, these people are often flawed, but if you think that, again, Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't, discredited on so many levels by the intelligence community, spied on, again, people are flawed. I'm not saying that any of these people are literally godlike. Humans are flawed. That's why we talk about unconditional love. The standards and banners of today's royals are a mockery of the true nobility that once ruled and guided mankind. Thoughts on Steve Pieczenik prediction on Alex Jones, please? Yeah, Steve Pieczenik is total disinformation and has been for a long time. Alex Jones at one point, again, I'm glad that he's gone fully against this Q stuff, said he talked to QAnon. He said he talked to Q, okay? I did a video about it when it happened. All right? They sold products with I am Q on it. Okay? It was a mass delusion from the beginning. It was a psyop in so many senses that was utilized, I would imagine by the actual intelligence community, but then all these little alt-right operatives, these people that were just trying to sell a narrative, and then social influencers that wanted more likes and views went with it. Many of them grifters. David Wilcox is a great example of a grifter that went on with this grift. Okay? This grifty McGrift. Now, there are others that maybe fell for it because it seems to be a mass delusion. But, Pieczenik is like QAnon, I don't even want to say light because he's talking about a pope being arrested. He's talking about ankle bracelets. He was talking about sting operations with watermarks on ballots, all sorts of just total and complete horse pucky. All right, Matt, how about that? MLK Jr.'s words cascade like a waterfall to our souls. When people wake up and listen to their hearts, for humanity's sakes, it may be too late, sadly. It was an accident emoji. Let's see. Okay, try this one. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Jason, would you invite David Knight on the show? I have invited David Knight on the show. I did it through Twitter. David Knight is welcome anytime on the show to discuss any subject he would like. How about that? Steve P. and QAnon is FBI disinfo. Our government killed him because he was against the wars. Seeing the back end of the Cold War was interesting. Our nukes didn't work, folks. Birds defeated them. Weathers defeated them. They had cooks permanently assigned at every missile silo. I have a book, guys. I can go all night. Love your marshmallow man. Yeah, to stay puffed, right? Let's just pull them up. This is old school. I forget where I got this one, but I had one as a kid, and then I think I found this at a thrift store. This was like one of my favorite kid toys, and then I found I'm that guy. Like I wish I still had the Gizmo. I think that went away somewhere, but my mother had gotten me the Gizmo toy. I've now had it twice, like the old one. 80s nostalgia, guys. 80s nostalgia. Put the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man back over there. He's not. David Knight is the only good thing. He fired him like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. Let's see. Anyone seen Mr. Gritch lately? Not the last couple days, but MF Doom, Mad Villain. He's on there. I've seen him. Tony, we don't have a government. We have a board of directors and CEOs. Wow, Bella. America is a corporation. Alex Truth's MLK killed by FBI or CIA. MLK Boondocks episode, brah, explains today a little too well. Boondocks in general, just a banging show. Just one of those shows that you really just can't get enough of. Hit the nail on the head on so many subjects. Let's see. Not all races are the same, dude. Everyone is different in every way. Go look at any black-controlled nation. Pure hell on earth. This Jason character is a buffoon. No, you're a buffoon. To imply that somebody's race has anything to do with their intellect, give me a break. You guys are disgusting. That disgusts me. No, man, what happens in those countries is that you have these predator class interests that colonized them long ago and militarily suppressed them and then caused these pockets of warlords. I mean, look, it makes me so upset when I hear that. Cultures are different. Physically, human beings can have, different aspects through generations of genetics. Again, their history through their parents, etc. That's all real. I mean, let's talk about microevolution for a second, okay? And the human race. If you notice, historically, right, you had the darkest people, out of Africa, where the sun shined all the time. Then you kind of had those brown people, South America, the United States, before the Europeans came over. You talk about Europeans, guess what? Not as much sun there. Didn't rain as much. Then you look at Asian nations and the physical features there. They all develop around certain regions and what appears to be their access to sunlight. That's about it. Yeah. And if you think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. There's a reason that people come out of those regions physically looking that way. And our physical differences, in my opinion, have nothing to do with our human differences, right? Our human differences are basically cultural. I can't, whenever someone tries to imply like one race is better than the other, intellectually or whatever, I want to puke in my mouth. It makes me sick. Honest shit, we've all been played. I can admit it. I'd rather get laughed at than live with hope. Well, thank you. Let's show that. Let's see. All involved, that's why. God help us all. Be prepared. Be ready. Pray. Stand up firm. MLK Jr. last Sunday sermon. Please watch. Sure. All ending. 1 year ago. Are you, I don't know where that's going. Are you asleep during a revaluation? Let's see. Who cares about those people? I'm not even going to say their name. Why would I? They promote nonsense and hopium, and have for a long time, and attack people, and are in court all the time, and are associated with like literally professional trolls, and just magically, people are reporting my stuff, and I'm getting like a dozen thumbs down by the same troll account, like literally someone who's got a dozen accounts and nothing better to do. I mean, it's sad, actually. So how evil are the people that murdered him and JFK and RFK and so many others? Identity politics is a divide and conquer strategy, rebranded. Again, I agree. Thou shalt not kill. Burmis was a federal plant. Oh, my God. Again, man, these people... I don't even want to say, it's so ridiculous. Listen, just so everybody knows, when stuff like that is said about me, I'm not even going to respond because I'm not going to litigate against some nonsense. Like that's what they want so badly. Do I sit here and accuse anybody of being a Fed or whatever bullshit out there? Of course not. Of course not. It's ridiculous. I just want to puke in my mouth again. Look at this guy. He's trying so bad to ignore the comments. What are you talking about? He will go through the comments in a few minutes. Yeah, I do. I mean, what do we got? Like the troll farm getting in here? We got like 3 or 4 fake accounts in here that are the same person. Trying to stir it up. Thank you. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. Thank you. Another great quote. None of us are perfect. We want to point out our flaws. I always say that. When I get something wrong, I talk about it. I let people know that I'm not the greatest. I do bad things too. I try to do less bad things. When I do know I do something bad, I try to correct that behavior. I'm certainly not perfect. None of us are. I think we're being completely dishonest with ourselves if we don't take that into account. How come you're killing it tonight? Thank you so much for being here. By the way, thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Can we get at least 150 thumbs up? And remember, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll be live, free, and exclusive over at Rockfin. Over 10,000 followers over on Rockfin. Awesome. Just awesome. You look like you are in bliss. Do I? Just saying what I saw. I prefer Jason. Well, okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Caitlin Johnston has been dissing spiritual people. I agree, attacking organized religion, but the hate on spiritual did my head in. I unsubbed. I've only seen good stuff in her work. I don't like grifters, I'll tell you that. And I certainly don't proclaim to have the answers to the universe. I've told people again and again and again, agnostic at best. I believe this is a battle between good and evil. I think that those two things actually exist. And I don't like to berate anybody's religion because I wasn't around hundreds of years ago, let alone thousands of years ago. I can't give you the validity of any of it. It wasn't a coincidence. Sanctuary cities were thoroughly maligned. Watching live from H-Town. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. I think we already did that one, right? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Madman. Let's see. Jason is a great homie. He must be new. He'll go through the comments. Yeah, I always do. In Portland, Oregon, they want a national Anthony Fauci Day. Lovely. I don't know what Shami sympathizer, a commie sympathizer. So he was a commie sympathizer, that Martin Luther King Jr. Whatever, man. A lot of people would say some of the people that I hang out with are commie sympathizers. I'm trying to talk to everybody. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. You shouldn't either. Alex, yeah, I never seem to stay there long. I don't know why. Maybe AI mind. Maybe, I don't know, bot. I was surprised to see it, honestly. Are they giving out bobbleheads? The fact people were offended by the words is a testament to the lack of intelligence and humanity. If American peasants don't realize the game is over for them, oh well, too bad. The hippie movement was the same thing as we saw now, run by the same people as then, literally. In my neighborhood, there are about 20 signs saying, "In Fauci we trust. Mask up. I can't make this up." Wow. Wow, Thomas. That is horrific. That is next level. In Fauci, that is very Faucian of your community. How come LMAO, Thomas? Serious, though? I saw it. What? Oh, you did? Oh, no. You saw it, too? Yeah, I'm sorry as well. That is crazy. Memba Kissinger talking about population control in the 70s. I remember. I remember too, Hebrew. How are you feeling? I'm feeling good. I hope Karen's feeling good too. That's probably the reason he was executed, because when you speak truth like that about the U.S. government, they make sure to make you an example as they silence your voice. Disgusting, still the same. Let's see. Glad I haven't seen signs like that in LA yet. I'd take them down. What is up, Christine? Thank you so much for continuing to support the show. I hope you're having a lovely evening. Let's see. Plague. COVID 2020. Assange. Yes, I like Assange. Not all that great. I'll be okay, I'm sure. It happens now and again. I hope you're feeling better, Karen. MLK has really grown on me as I've grown up. Every time I look back on him, he is ever more correct. Thank you. When I was a kid, it seemed kind of silly, but looking back, MLK was a great man. Again, I don't try to make anybody into a hero. Hashtag be your own hero. But certainly our generation could use more people like him speaking out as eloquently at that and trying to unite people against government tyranny and human injustice and war. Just my thoughts, from a dumb guy. Just me. Do you have a virtual doctor? No, I do not. Oh, you're talking to Karen. America's always been a great idea, just never great. The cult was still operating in secrecy until the church committee happened. Church committee exposed a lot of lies, but not enough of them. Dick Gregory had a lot to say about it. Check it out. We got some BS. After a great new modern day economic depression, we will have a war. They don't see you in person around here anymore. Let's see. Real Black Channel. Nothing changes but the weather. I don't know what that means. I don't know what I mean. Oh, the year stuff? I don't. No. Sorry. I don't think it's a cycle. America was not only great, it literally lifted the standard of living for the whole world. You're welcome. If you go by history and transferring the power in the U.S., then eventually everything will go just fine. Let's see. Why are they bringing in 200 NYPD? Good question. Well, Cuomo said he's not going to the inauguration, that he's going, he wants to stay in New York because he's worried about something happened in Albany at the Capitol. I don't know about that. I don't think that's real. Yeah, I met my new doctor. Did he help you? Why was the NYPD on Epstein Island? They do seem to show up everywhere. NYPD is pretty corrupt, guys. We've talked about that before, too. There's a lot of corruption in the state of New York in general. If you go by the media's conspiracy craziness, then get ready for the end. I'm hoping not. Transhumanism, how about that? How about Metal Gear Solid pointing out all that could go wrong with all of that? I never played the Metal Gear games. I got a bunch of them. I got as old school back as the remakes on, on the GameCube, the Twin Snakes. But I think we actually have a super chat kind of thing over here. We did get a donation. Gonna go check right now. Hebro, super chat works, my man. Hebro, thank you so much. Go get funding. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to use that because that's the new way to do it. And I am kind of nervous and worried because it's not as open as a platform as GoFundMe. But moving on, I don't know what to do. We're seeing more and more censorship for less and less provocative topics like, peace and anti-war topics. And daring to speak out when you don't think that members of Antifa, BLM, or the Proud Boys are domestic terrorists. Did he say it? He said it. Oh, no. Let's see. I saw it myself, a caravan of NYPD leaving NYC to DC. Interesting. I don't trust doctors. They basically read our minds now and manipulate us in the same way. Lots of algorithms out there. I think you should run your symptoms past a doctor or nurse. I agree. Language is alive, not stagnant. Kids are clever as heck. NYPD and DC don't make sense. The lack of depth in the political mind is astounding. I want us to come out the other side of this well and able. Do you think there is any chance? In my opinion, there needs to be a mass epiphany. There needs to be something. Not sure Arabic is a good route once digital kicks in. No more petrodollars. I'm just glad that they're interested in doing stuff on their own, and actually are happy they're here and happy to be in school. Okay? All those things. Guys, I think we're at that hour-long point. I just, again, want to remind everybody that we are fully demonetized on the YouTube platform. I mean, I don't even want to... Well, are we going to have the 1-year anniversary soon? If we're still on the platform, we'll do a 1-year anniversary from when they pulled me. But, they've never responded about review. I can't even get thumbnails reviewed by YouTube. It's a big joke. They just want to pull me. GoFundMe just pulled my latest campaign. I'm doing it through Go Get Fund Me. I also have crypto addresses down there. I got my PayPal address. Every little bit counts. $5, $10, $15. Big donors. Couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without you. Subscribe while you can. Let's get to 75,000, 100,000 subscribers. Again, we don't have any strikes on the channel. We don't call for violence. We're not cyber bullies. We dare to give a separate opinion than the mainstream media mockingbird narrative that is perpetrated by all these mainline networks. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now, in the playlist section under documentaries. Remember to rockfin. 10,000 followers. Make the free account. Let's get to 10,100 tonight. And make sure to come join us live and free at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And guys, if you do want to support me there, another great way to do it is you pay $10 a month. You don't just get my content, right? And then all the stuff that goes premium on there, but you get everybody's premium content. It is like a Netflix for creators, and so many great creators are coming over to Rockfin. So much great content. Action for Assange, Slow News Day, just awesome content. Jimmy Dore, Graham Elwood, Ron Placone, The Convo Couch. If you like Cernovich, Iverson, Tripoli, so many people. And we are backing things up on Odyssey. Hopefully Odyssey is going to take the time to grab the other 800 videos that they haven't synced yet. I'm really hoping that's going to come. They said they were going to do it. Hopefully they weren't just like blowing steam up my bum. And I just want to say thank you for joining me, guys. It's not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. And if you think that somehow, again, your race makes you superior to another person, gross. Fucking gross. I love you.